so I'm gonna call the first meeting of January 3rd, 2019 to order. Our invocation morning will be led by Mr. Fred McClure.
Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for all the blessings that you have given to us as individuals and as a county. We ask, Lord, that you would continue to prosper us in the upcoming years you have in the past. Help us to have good health and the ones in business, a good business, and as the county to prosper. We thank you for all the people that make up the county, that make our county great. We ask, Lord, for your discernment in any decisions that we have to make today, your wisdom, as you have promised to us. And everything that we would say and do this morning would bring honor and glory to your name. And it's in your name we pray. Amen. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You know, I hesitate to start with any recognition this morning. We've got a room full of people, and I know I'll miss a lot of them. But I do want to recognize our new senator, Eddie Gallimore, is here with us today. We also have our new sheriff here. We have several department heads here today, and matter of fact, we've got state representatives here, old and new, and a lot of others will be recognized during the different items on the agenda. If you haven't registered for public address and want to speak this morning, you still got time to register for the address up here at the front. And after the adoption agenda, we'll have that. Now, the next item would be the adoption of the agenda. We've got one item I know to add, the longevity for Sheriff's Office. That'll be agenda item 8D. And I think Mr. Fry is going to add a closed session to a attorney-client to the closed session.
Yes, sir, with the board's permission.
Are there any other changes to the agenda? Can I have a motion and a second to approve? We got a motion.
Second.
And a second to approve the agenda. If you'll cast your vote.
All of the votes are in. And that motion carries 7-0.
The next item is a public address.
No, sir.
So I guess nobody wants to speak right now, so we'll pass over the public address and we'll go on to deliberations. Our first item on the agenda is kind of one that you hate to bring up and you want to bring it up also. We're going to lose a good man, but we're going to gain a good man in another place. This is going to be our the resignation for Commissioner Steve Jarvis. Zeb, if you want to lead that off.
Yes, sir. At this time, I think Mr. Jarvis has a letter that he would like to read real quick. I get to deliver the sad news, then we go on to the good news. How's that?
Okay.
All right. Well, Mr. Chairman, if you would allow a point of personal privilege prior to me reading the letter.
Yes, sir.
This is definitely a bittersweet day. I would like to say I've counted it a privilege to have the opportunity to serve as a Davidson County Commissioner. It's been a privilege to work with great people of Davidson County and with such a knowledgeable staff. I hate to start naming names. Like the chairman said, there's too many to list. But if we start down the road, at least of the manager staff, I remember when we interviewed Casey Smith, Representative Potts and myself had conversation after the interview and said, well, you know, if he does get hired, do you think we'll ever get out of a commissioners meeting on time? But, Casey's went on to win national awards for Davidson County. And it's because of his work here. Casey's been a great addition to the management team and has done a great job. When it comes to numbers, I believe that our attorney Chuck Fry will miss hearing someone say, I believe I just need 3 more votes. Numbers in Raleigh are quite different. We got to learn to count to 4 here. In Raleigh, it takes 61 to get anything past the House. So, but in all seriousness, we're definitely privileged to have the president of the North Carolina Bar Association to be our attorney, and Mr. Fry has done an excellent job. I think about Zeb Hanner. I think of many memories that come to mind. I remember when he thought he wanted to take a vacation and go sharpen pencils for the city of Archdale as the city manager. I'll never forget the day that I was commissioned along with a couple other commissioners to meet with Zeb and to ask him to come back to be our county manager. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the last statement that I made to him, I told him, I said, well, listen, don't give us an answer. If you will, just go home, talk to your wife about it, pray about it, and ask the Lord to show you why, and make it definitely plain why you should not come back and be Davidson County Commissioner. I believe he followed God's leading, and he's definitely done a great job, and I've appreciated working with him. And then that goes on to the one that keeps everybody straight. That would be Debbie Harris. First as attorney, paralegal, then clerk to the board. I believe during that time of getting her to come over to be clerk to the board would have been one of the times that I had a conversation with Attorney Fry, and he heard one of the numbers analogies. But anyways, then for the clerk to move on to be master clerk, she listens to 7 guys and reports to 7 of us, and she always says, yes, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll get right on it. It's hard to deal with just a couple, you know. Those of us that are married have wives to deal with, and she's got 7 gentlemen and ladies to deal with and try to do what we want done. But it's definitely great having the president of the North Carolina Clerks Association as our clerk. Davidson County is truly blessed with much talent. Talking about different representation, I've had the privilege to serve with Davidson County North Carolina Association president, the first person from Davidson County to ever be elected to that position, Mr. Fred McClure. I have to say, I probably won't miss much of the Cajun food.
You mean your wife won't?
And I probably won't miss some of that Cajun driving.
Oh, okay.
But you know, a Boudreaux joke every now and then, it'll be missed. But I've enjoyed serving with each and every commissioner that I've had the privilege to over the years. I can truly say that I believe that each one has done what they feel in their heart is best for Davidson County. For any new commissioners coming on or any time in the past, I would say, if you will, just as a word of advice, if you'll listen to the citizens, listen to your staff, take time before you go into action and listen to the wealth of knowledge that the citizens have, you can learn so much. I would like to say without my parents without my wife, without my family, mentors, leaders, and God, I would not be here where I am today. I count it a great privilege to have served each citizen of Davidson County. I ask for your prayers and support as I enter into another chapter of my life to continue to serve. Dear fellow commissioners, pursuant to my letter of December 18, 2018, I resign from the Davidson County Board of Commissioners effective immediately. Thank you. Respectfully submitted, Steve Jarvis.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank him for his service. I think he deserves a standing ovation for the time he has put in. I'll lead that.
I just received the official letter of resignation. Can I have a motion and a second to accept this resignation?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to accept Steve Jarvis's resignation. If you cast your vote.
Can I use his clicker to vote, Debbie, or?
All of those.
Wait a minute. What would happen if we denied his motion to leave? Then what would happen? Sorry, Steve, you can't go to Raleigh, man.
And that motion carries 6-0.
Mr. Chairman, for the record, the acceptance of that resignation pursuant to law will then be an act by the board to declare the seat vacant and will begin the time period in which a recommendation must be made for a replacement for that seat.
I believe the person made the motion was including all that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Chris knew about that.
Yeah.
Okay. And Steve, before you sit down, I want to present you with a plaque here for your service here on the board. This is a plaque presented from the Davidson County Board of Commissioners to Steve Jarvis for 6 years of outstanding and dedicated service to the city, to the county of Davidson. This is signed the 3rd day of January 2019. If you'll come up and get this. Trying to get him a better place there to do it.
Let me get out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen if Kenny American's here? We'll do that now. Okay. Okay, he'd like to get a picture with the commissioners with his plaque here too. You want it down front, you say? We got a short agenda, but it's gonna take us a while today. I'm kinda glad it is short.
Starting to get all my head in there.
what I did last time.
See if we can get
One of them.
All right, our next item on the agenda is the swearing in of Representative, Larry Potts and Representative-elect Steve Jarvis, to the, North Carolina congressional districts. Before we start these, Steve, yours will be first on my agenda. Before we start this, we got something else special for us. We got the three Heath brothers here this morning, and they agreed to come up and sing our national anthem to begin our swearing-in ceremony. So if you guys will come on up, and when you get ready, we'll all stand and get ready for you. Okay, if everyone will stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave. The brave.
What?
Quite a job there, but
I'm telling you what.
I think we ought to adjourn now.
You know, we hear so much about the, young people in our society today, and the waywardness and, their lack of discipline. Well, let me tell you something, you may be talking about a few, but that right there is a representative of our young people today.
Amen.
Thank you guys for that blessing.
You know, I realized several of us had our back to them by looking at the flag. So I'm hoping to get back home and watch this stream on the internet so I can watch them doing the singing.
They won't do any better. They'll be about the same.
Okay, now our first swearing in will be conducted by Wendy Jarvis. So Wendy, if you'll come on up and we'll get Representative-elect Steve Jarvis, for the 80th Congressional District of North Carolina.
Place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Steve Jarvis,
Do solemnly
do solemnly
and sincerely affirm
and sincerely affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true allegiance
and bear true allegiance
to the state of North Carolina
to the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional powers
and to the constitutional powers
and authorities
and authorities
which are or may be established
which are or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor
and that I will endeavor
to support, maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of said state,
of said state,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
with the Constitution
with the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name,
I, Steve Jarvis,
do affirm
do affirm
that I will well and truly execute
that I will well and truly execute
the duties of office
the duties of office
of a member
of a member
of the North Carolina House of Representatives,
of the North Carolina House of Representatives,
according to the best of my skill
according to the best of my skill
and ability,
and ability,
according to law,
according to law,
so help me God.
so help me God.
At this time, I would like our pastor, Reverend Jonathan Heath, to come forward and pray for students to start this new journey in Christ.
Bow your head with me. Almighty God, we come before you this morning on this very special occasion, swearing in of our friend, our brother in the Lord, Steve Jarvis, as a North Carolina State Representative. Lord, you know we have cheered him on and we have prayed for him. We've also watched him conduct his life, both public and private, with character and with carefulness. We thank you, Lord, today for his willingness to serve, and we thank you for the blessings that you showered upon him and his family, and for this opportunity you're giving to him to be a greater influence in our state and also our county. Lord, we thank you for the favor that you've shown him and allowed him to be in this position. But we also see the huge opportunity and responsibility that you're placing on his shoulders. So Lord, today we pray for strength and for wisdom for him and for Wendy, his wife. Would you give them grace? Would you help them to feel your guidance and your help through the tough days that may lie ahead? Lord, I pray specifically for a hedge of protection around he and his wife and their marriage and their family. Would you anoint his term and guide his every decision? And Lord, I pray that he would feel your help in the days ahead. For everything that you do, Lord, we will give you the glory and the honor, for it all belongs to you. You are the only one who puts up and takes down, and it's in your name we pray these things this morning.
Amen.
Man.
On behalf of the North Carolina General Assembly, I'd like to present you with your official House of Representatives thing. This gets you around, lets everybody know you, and lets you bypass security, so. That's important.
You know, I believe there'll be a reception following our meeting today, to recognize, his service on the board and his, resignation this morning, Steve. And, congratulations, and I know you'll do a good job. Now, our clerk, Debbie Harris, will do the swearing in for our other House of Representatives, Representative Larry Potts, 81st Congressional District.
I'd like to ask Mr. Jarvis and Senator and Gallimore if they would come and stand with me, because if we're gonna get anything done in Raleigh, it'll be a team effort, so I appreciate them coming out.
I, Larry W. Potts,
I, Larry W. Potts,
do solemnly and sincerely swear
do solemnly and sincerely swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the
of
Constitution
the United States,
of the United States,
that I will be faithful
that I will be faithful
and bear true
and
allegiance
bear true allegiance
to the state of North
to
Carolina
the state of North Carolina
and to the constitutional
and
powers
to the constitutional powers
and authorities
and authorities
which are or may be established
which are or may be established
for the government thereof,
for the government thereof,
and that I will endeavor to support,
and I will endeavor to support,
maintain, and defend
maintain, and defend
the Constitution of said state,
the Constitution of said state,
not inconsistent
not inconsistent
with the Constitution of the United States,
with the Constitution of the United States,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
to the best of my knowledge and ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I, Larry W. Potts,
I, Larry W. Fox,
do swear
swear
that I will well and truly
that I will well and truly
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the office
of the office
of a member
of a member
of the North Carolina House of
of
Representatives
the North Carolina House of Representatives,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to the best of my skill and ability,
according to law,
according to law,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Well, yes, please. That's the pen you'd like to use. You can just sign both.
I've asked the chairman for the privilege of getting a picture of the three of us with the commissioner standing behind there. Because if anything gets in Raleigh, done in Raleigh, it's not by me, it's by we. So, hard to-
Congratulations again.
Congratulations.
Again. Eddie, congratulations.
Now, as Larry said, Representative Potts said, you saw the entire Davidson team right here together now. So, we're looking forward to getting a lot of things done in Raleigh this upcoming year. Okay, now we're back on our regular schedule here. We got item C is performance-based budgeting, Casey Smith. Okay. Put him back in. Thank you. You're free.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The long-winded assistant county manager will get up here and stand between the reception and, everything else. Thank you, Representative Potts. Thank you. I knew the clapping was coming next. That's why I turned around. And I'm glad they're here, Representative Potts and now Representative Jarvis. Every year we give the annual PBB report, and these two gentlemen have probably been through as many of these as anybody. Mr. McClure's been here a long time as well and seen a lot of these. This program started in 2002, so over a decade and a half ago. The county decided that they wanted to build a program that provided departments with the incentive to save money and help the county, but also have the ability to access funds that they did save to do things that they can't do in their current budget. So, and a lot of times we're talking about equipment. We're talking about one-time purchases, things that they just don't have the capacity to save money for to do after paying for staff and contracts and all those kinds of things. The report you have before you is for fiscal year FY18, so it's always a year behind. We just completed that year as of June 30. You'll receive a CAFR here, I think in next week, I believe, is when we're going to present it to you for the financial piece of it. But the PBB report to me is always special because it couples both things. It has a little bit of numbers about money, but it also shows you what you get for your money, and the citizens can see that as well because it'll be posted online here in just a few minutes. The county does a lot of things, as many of you know. We do a lot of things, so it's hard to sum it up in one report. But I got a couple of key projects here that I want to just highlight. Again, 16 years we've been doing this program. There's 24 departments and divisions that participate in PBB, so it's quite a substantial amount of employees are involved in it. To date, roughly over $30 million saved over that 16 years, and the departments have banked up savings for future use at about $3.9 million. And where does that sit? In county fund balance. So you've entered into a covenant with the departments to allow them to come to you through agenda items and appropriate those funds and use them for, again, most of the time, equipment. Again, the board approves all those amendments as we go. The departments can only bank up to 8% of their budget. Sometimes we get in that conversation every year. So they have a total budget, and 8% is what they can bank up to. If they don't spend anything during the year, there won't be any capacity to save to 8%. So they have to have some room. In other words, if you're sitting on your bank savings from the year before and you don't have any PBB amendments for that year, you're not going to be adding to you can't go above 8. So all the savings that you would have would come back to the county. And again, it's also tied to their goals. So they have to achieve. Every summer we sit with the departments and we go over their goals and we kind of score them out through a matrix, and we know, they achieved 90% of their goals, or 80%, or 70%, and it's not 100. The average across the 24 is about 95%, but there's some that score 60, there's some that score 70, some that score 100. So all of the goals are not gimmies, so to speak, and we adjust those. If we see that somebody's clearing their goals way too much, we make them more stringent. If we see that somebody's having a tough time with them, it depends on what the goal is. A lot of times, too, we make goals that are more geared to if the citizen can read them. I want the citizen to be able to see them and say, I understand exactly what this service is, without ever stepping foot and knowing what fleet maintenance does or what DSS does or what public health does. I want them to be able to read it and know, okay, I got the gist of what public health does through these handful of performance measures. A couple of key projects that we were able to do. We did a lot of them. That book is full of them. As you can go through it, it starts high and it goes down to the details. Just to orient you to the book, there's a message from the county manager at the beginning of it that kind of highlights the overall numbers I just spoke of. It goes into some highlighted sections about some activities that's going on in the departments that you'll see. You can read about those. I'm going to highlight a couple of things that caught my attention as reading through it. And then there's a page with the money, shows what the bank savings, I just quoted, the 3.9. And then it goes into the performance measures. Just a handful of them. Again, there's a lot of them we look at, but these are the ones that really stand out to me that I like. You can't pack them all, a book all full of these. A couple of projects that we did do. Fire Marshal's office was able to purchase a vehicle to pull, the foam truck that we did. You'll have a big write-up there in the report there you can see. You can actually see a picture of a demonstration of that activity. So we had to buy a vehicle to pull those trailers around. The Fire Marshal's office used PBB funds for that. The library contributed not quite half of the $275,000 roof project that had to go on at Lexington Library. So Ruth Ann contributed $100,000 from her PBB to finish that project. We had an amount budgeted. When we got around to bid, it was much higher. She filled in the gap on a much-needed roof job at Lexington Library. Senior services, and this is one here, those again, equipment or roofs. You know, roof is not a piece of equipment, but it's a one-time purchase, hopefully for a while. Here's one, though, that we did kind of supplement a service, and for good reasons. Senior services provided about $35,000 to kind of continue an in-home aid services program that they do for elderly citizens. And that was able to help 40 clients to a total of 2,100 hours to keep folks in their homes, basically. And some of the services they do, they provide the light cleaning, light housekeeping, meal preparation, and transportation. But I did see this in Senior Services write-up, and Tisha, I got to give you credit for this one. The amount of hours, just the sheer volume of volunteer hours that Senior Services generates, equates to about 20,000 hours a year, if I'm right, Tisha. And that's about $472,000 worth of people that help volunteer in Senior Services that we obviously don't have to pay. So it's like saving $472,000 worth of staff, basically. That's not really in the PB, but I caught my attention when I read through it. I thought it was amazing. And a lot of those volunteer hours go to critical services like in-home care and Meals on Wheels. Sanitation bought some compact receivers and some open-top containers with about $50,000 for them, and that helps to, you know, safely and efficiently dispose for discard trash at the box sites for citizens. And then all of the departments, if you remember, maybe a year and a half ago, chip in to pay the first year cost of getting our new website. So everybody participated in that, and that's ended up being we've gotten good reviews on our website. It looks really nice, and I think everybody's happy with that. A couple of years ago, we decided we wanted to change a couple of things about PBB, and we came to the board and asked you all if you had any problems with us doing a PBB Employee of the Year. You know, we kind of look at all the departments, but within them departments, there's a lot of people that do a lot of stuff, and you're talking hundreds of people that participate in this. So for the last 2 years, we've selected someone that it gets submitted to the county manager's office, and the manager and I go through them, and we take a look at them, and we try to narrow it down to one. It has to be one. We can't do multiples. Had a lot of good candidates this year. Some folks from Senior Services, some folks from Jury Ward, Shop, and Tax. Tax did an amazing job this year in collections. We'll go through that when we get to CAFR. They had a really good year. But we narrowed it down to one individual in particular, and I'm not sure if she's here. Dale, Kimberly Danch. Maybe Scott. Scott, we'll come up here. I'll give this to you. Scott supervises a group for which this young lady who can't be here, I think they're in court this morning, probably. Kimberly Danch works for the county in our social services department, and she's a child support supervisor. So she works a job that's not always glamorous. Supervises a staff of 7. Been with the county for 11 years, been in the role she's in since 2016. In addition to supervising the staff and kind of all the issues that come along with that, this caught my attention. They have an average of 2,200 child support cases, and this means enforcement cases, with 400 new ones getting added every month. Now, they eliminate some, obviously, but 400 comes back on. I thought that was an amazing number. And Kim's team in particular, you know, the work that they do contributes to a collections average once they process the cases, and sometimes it goes to the county attorney's office and has to go through litigation, et cetera. But once that happens, they average just under $2,200 in collections. The state average is about $1,600. The national average is about $2,000. So she is $200 above the national average in terms of collections for her team, or the work that they do from her team. And the work that the entire child support area contributes to picks up $13 million for the county annually. So she is just a part of a bigger wheel that goes along that really is a vital service to the county. She is, obviously hadn't got here yet. I don't know if she's got in or not. There she comes. So Scott, we'll relieve Scott from, he's not Kimberly Danch, so we'll. Kim, come on up here. We've had 2 of these in the past. Alan Harris was our inaugural renter from maintenance last year. It was the gentleman from environmental health, Lillian, I can't remember his name. Randy Swicegood. And this year, Kimberly Danch is our 2018 PBB Employee of the Year. So if we can give her a round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. You have the 2018 report. If you've got any questions, as you all know, feel free to come by, ask us anything. ask us now or anytime you have any questions about PBB. It's an ongoing program. It runs and lives and breathes itself through the years, so there's always things going on with it.
Well, you know, Casey, I want to thank you. I naturally haven't seen the whole thing here yet, but you did a great job in this. And in 2002, I guess it was when it started, I just came on board myself. And I'll be fair with you, I didn't think it was going to work. I didn't understand PBB. Since then, I do understand it. I see how much it's saved us, and it's a good program. Zeb did a good job on it. You picked up right with Zeb there, and it's a great project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one thing to add is we talk about the money saved as far as the county is concerned, but if you look at the goals that were achieved in here, that means service to the people of this county.
Right.
And that was the whole purpose whenever we brought it on, was to provide incentive for the counties, but at the same time provide better service for the people that we serve. And y'all have done an outstanding job. We started off with 7 departments.
7 departments, yeah. And many of those, you're right, and many of those are above and beyond things like state mandated goals. You know, DSS has a lot of things they have to do per the state, but a lot of their goals are above and beyond that. So we put that stuff front and center, even though it shows up in the back of the book. You're right. We always talk about it. That's the main purpose for doing this.
I'd also like to commend you for the awards that you've gained through all this. You know, you look at pages 12 and 13, it's nothing but awards, national awards. So you're doing a fantastic job, you and Matthew and everybody in our staff. Thank you for what you do.
We do have to thank the departments, the heads. I want to give them a credit for that. This is their program, not mine. So we are kind of the over administrators of the end of the line, but they run the programs. And Matthew and Debbie, big help too on part of just pulling that together. It takes a lot of effort to kind of make sure everything in there adds up, everything is the right answer, you know. And so Debbie's a big part of helping go through this as well, every year.
It's called the health department on an off day because they have all peeking around the corner whenever.
Over the years, we've gotten more theatrical with the pictures, not just standing there. We've kind of got to where it's at least looks like we're, you know, smiling and happy and everything else. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And again, thanks Kimberly for congratulate her for being the employee of the year.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Next item is the longevity awards for the Sheriff's Department. And Kathy Cashin is here. Is Kathy here?
Yeah.
Okay. And so the board needs to come down in front, I think, for these awards.
Since it's the sheriff's, do you want to invite the sheriff to come?
Well, she will, I guess.
Gonna go the other way this time? We're going back. We'll go backwards.
Before we get started, I have one thing to say to you guys sitting over here who did that beautiful song. Wow. That was amazing. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We're a little bit awkward here in our setup. Typically, we would be on that side and you would come around and pick up the award. If you don't mind, just kind of reverse it and come around this way. I'm Kathy Cashin, HR Director for the county. And as the HR Director, I want to thank our Sheriff's Department, but personally, as a citizen of Davidson County, I want you to know how much all of the citizens appreciate what you do, the years that you have provided, and the years that I hope you will continue to provide to protect the citizens of the county. We really appreciate you. I know it's a tough world out there. We all see it and we hear about it, but we thank you for what you do. Okay, so the first one, we'll start with 25 years of service. Roger Brammer. Dennis Rabin. Twenty years of service, Chad Childress. Kelly Daniel. James Freeman. Vicki Watkins. And this gentleman, I don't think is here today either, and he's already received his award, but we'd like to recognize him, Terry Whitman. And then for 15 years, Clayton Dagenhart. Tony Gordon. Randy Holbrook. Thank you. Matthew Riddle. Ten years of service, Jeffrey Barber. Roger Cook. Courtney Hepler. Michael Hurd. Sandy Nobles. Lisa Rabin. David Wooten. And celebrating 5 years of service, LaVonda Brown. Robert Butler. George Hunt. Stephen Jones. Lily McKnight. Judy Michael. Justin Myers. And Kathy Tesh. Thank you all very much.
Keep my job.
Again, congratulations to the sheriff's department, employees for their longevity. Our next item is closed session, so that's all of our,
Mr. Chairman?
yes, sir.
Since we're getting close to 9 o'clock, if you'd like, we could always recess, and then come back into session, do a closed session, since we got these folks.
That'd be
here.
fine.
It's the board's choice, but I
Well,
thought.
it's fine, but now, is anybody got any meetings after this they gotta get to? How long will that last? 'Cause I got another meeting too.
We can recess, what, till 9:20?
9:20 or 9:30.
Closed session shouldn't last that long.
Okay, we recess till 9:30,
Thank all of you.
and, you can,
favor? Oh, that's you, go ahead.
All right, we're back in open session now. Got a motion going to close.
Back from the recess.
Mr. McClure's back now, so we can go into closed session. Anybody?
Mr. McClure's been here since 5:15.
I didn't hear you. Okay, do I have a motion going to closed session? Got a second? Second. This was verbal. So we in closed session. Be back in a few minutes.
So move.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're in open session.
Ask if anybody in the audience has got any comments.
Mr. Fry?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, the board considered three matters in closed session. A matter of personnel for which the board gave the county manager further direction. There was an attorney-client matter which involved pending litigation in BBUDC versus Davidson County, 16 CVS 947 in the General Court of Justice Superior Court Division in Davidson County. The board gave counsel direction for further action. And then there was also a real property matter. That's all at this time. Thank you.
Or is any other business to become before the board?
Move adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn. All in favor? We adjourn.
You throw me down as a second.